Yo, whoa, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive, bringing you guys a brand new video today, and today we are diving into the world of Pokemon Unite as they have just released their first patch notes for the game, including a ton of buffs and nerfs to various Pokemon in Pokemon Unite. This is actually crazy. The game's been out for 2 weeks. They're already doing updates to the game. This is amazing, and it's amazing to see that they're listening to the community for feedback. They had a survey up on their Twitter that they've been pushing really hard to get feedback, and this is overall a very positive thing for the Pokemon Unite community. I actually woke up to this. I'm super jazzed up about it. I'm really excited. So we're gonna break down all the patch notes, what they mean for gameplay and how they're going to affect things, and they're actually going to go live tomorrow on the 4th of the month. So talk about moving fast. You'll love to see it. Hit that like button down below if you guys are enjoying Pokemon Unite. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. And don't forget, I stream Pokemon Unite every single day on twitch.tv/aDrive. I just hit Master Rank yesterday. We're going to upload that video tomorrow as well. Bear with me, I'm still a little under the weather, but let's break this all down and have some fun. Before I go any further, I just want to let you guys know about PokeLoot Season 3. PokeLoot Season 3 is a limited edition crate that comes with this amazing limited edition Eevee Shiny t-shirt. You also get a sealed pack of Pokemon cards, a golden replica Pokemon card, and one random evolution like this amazing Umbreon right here. And what's crazy is it's only $30 for the entirety of PokeLoot, the t-shirt, the plushie, the pack of cards, and the replica card for just 30 bucks. At the time of me making this video, there's only about 100 of them left. You guys can go to pokeloot.net and pick one up before they are gone. Again, only about 100 of them left, so they are gonna sell out. Grab one today at pokeloot.net. All right, so let's start breaking down these patch notes because this is a big deal, and I'm really excited about this. Super stoked that they're doing this already. First of all, they mentioned there's going to be bug fixes and text fixes, and then they said that there's going to be a spectate feature test release. I want to let you guys know that Sword and Shield, we've been asking for a spectate feature for that game for 2 years, and we don't have one. And here we are 2 weeks into Unite, and they're giving us spectator mode. Incredible. This is the start of esports for Pokemon Unite, and I couldn't be more excited about it. The first Pokemon we're going to talk about is Charizard. Charizard's flamethrower is going to have its cooldown reduced, which means you're going to be able to use flamethrower more frequently, and it also has more effects on opposing Pokemon strengthened. Fire Punch has its effects on opposing Pokemon strengthened, and Fire Blast has its cooldown reduced and effects on opposing Pokemon strengthened. So Charizard gets a massive buff. 2 of his main moves get a cooldown reduction, Fire Punch, and everything else gets a buff in terms of the attack power. So Charizard is going to be a lot stronger coming into this next update. The next Pokemon we're going to take a look at is Talonflame. Talonflame, much like Charizard, is getting a massive buff. In fact, all of its moves, or 3 of its moves, are getting huge buffs. Acrobatics gets a damage buff. Aerial Ace and Aerial Ace Plus, which is when you get to a certain level, like level 11, usually 13, somewhere around there. Aerial Ace is going to have another buff, and then Fly also has increased damage dealt. So Talonflame, one of the Pokemon that I rated lowest in my tier list, which I'll have in the description by the way, actually getting a huge buff. So Charizard, Talonflame receiving buffs, 2 Pokemon that were very underwhelming right now. And the ideal scenario in a game like this is that every Pokemon is viable. Every Pokemon can be handled and used in a positive way. So you want to try to have them as even on a playing field as possible. So the fact that they're tweaking these things is huge. Venusaur. We rated Venusaur in our tier list as the lowest ranked Pokemon in the game, and I like Venusaur, but it needs some buffs, and it's getting them, baby. Sludge Bomb has increased damage dealt to opposing Pokemon, and the effects, which is the poison, also is going to be strengthened. Petal Dance gets a move upgrade. Solar Beam has a cooldown reduced. Solar Beam, one of the strongest moves in the game, now going to have a shorter cooldown, allowing you to utilize it more frequently. And its Unite move, Verdant Anger, which is very underwhelming, probably one of the worst Unite moves, actually gets a damage dealt to opposing Pokemon increased. So now Venusaur is going to be hitting harder than ever before with Sludge Bomb, Petal Dance, Solar Beam's cooldown reduced, and having a Unite move that's going to be doing a little bit more damage could make all the difference for a Pokemon like Venusaur. Next, we're looking at Absol, and Absol is actually one of the more powerful Pokemon in the game, but definitely gets overwhelmed by things like Zeraora and Gengar in Jungle, so they're actually going to do a buff to Absol. Absol gets some bug fixes on its basic attack. Its Night Slash and its Sucker Punch are both going to have increased damage output. So you're not only is Absol already really strong, but he's going to be even stronger now. And I actually would look for Absol to become one of the strongest Pokemon in the game with these tweaks. We'll have to see how much they tune it. Are they going to overtune? Are they going to just tweak it a little bit and say, you know what, in a few weeks we may tweak it even higher? We'll have to see how they're going to approach it, because sometimes when these balance patches come out, you know, let's say this is the scale and the Pokemon's here and they want it to be here, you know, maybe they'll tweak it here, or maybe they'll go past it and then bring it back. We'll have to see how they're gonna go with it, but ultimately Absol getting a buff. Wigglytuff as well has a huge buff. Defense, special defense, and HP are all getting a buff for Wigglytuff. And I love Wigglytuff as a character. I think it's a really strong Pokemon with Sing. I feel like Sing is one of the coolest moves in the game. And Wigglytuff lacks because it just doesn't have the bulk to withstand those attacks like it's supposed to as a supporter Pokemon. But now it gets a defense, special defense, and HP buff. Double Slap is going to deal more damage and have that knockback effect a little bit more strengthened. Sing has its effects on opposing Pokemon strengthened, so the timer that they have to probably be in the Sing field is going to be reduced for them to fall asleep. That could make Wigglytuff absolutely detrimental to the other opposing team. Some bug fixes on Dazzling Gleam, but Wigglytuff is one of the Pokemon I'm most excited to try out with this patch because I played defenders and support characters, so I think Wigglytuff with its Sing could be very, very good now. Eldegoss, the premier supporter in the game, gets a nerf. Cotton Guard is going to have its cooldown lengthened, so you can't spam Cotton Guard as frequently, and the amount of HP restoration is going to be decreased. Cotton Spore is going to have its cooldown reduced, and the effects on opposing Pokemon strengthened, and now its defense, special defense increase has been strengthened as well, and its Unite move, Cotton Cloud Crash, will reduce the HP that it would restore. So, kind of a buff, kind of a nerf. Ultimately, what they did was they made Cotton Guard a little less useful and made Cotton Spore a little more useful to try to balance out those two abilities to make it so Eldegoss can be viable in both ways a little bit more. Moving to Cinderace, which some would consider to be the best jungler in the game, believe it or not. The highest ranked players are using Cinderace most effectively, and we're gonna see big nerfs to Cinderace. Its attack stack gets decreased, first and foremost. Blaze Kick, one of its main moves to jump towards the target, hit them, and then retreat, has a damage reduced. Fate has a move downgrade, and Pyro Ball actually has damage dealt increased. Again, similar to what they did with Eldegoss, they're reducing some of the Pokemon's effectiveness in exchange for improving some of its other moves to try to balance out his moveset so people don't always just pick Blaze Kick, maybe they'll pick Pyro Ball as well. So Cinderace getting, I would say, overall a nerf because most people aren't running Pyro Ball right now. You run Fate and Blaze Kick. The next Pokemon is Gengar. Let's all give a round of applause for this one, baby. I know everyone in low elo heck is very happy to see this one. Gengar has its basic attack fixed. There was some bugs there. Shadow Ball actually has damage dealt increased. Again, Cinderace, Eldegoss, they're buffing the secondary moves that people aren't using as much, and I'm sure they have all this data, right? They see everyone who plays Gengar picks Hex and Sludge Bomb. So they're trying to make it so Shadow Ball is viable, right? Hex gets a move downgrade, and Dream Eater gets a move upgrade. So Gengar's Hex is nerfed. That is massive, but they buffed Gengar's other attacks. They made Gengar's Dream Eater and Shadow Ball better. So I'm curious how that's going to play out, because Dream Eater is a really good move. It's a two attack move where you put something to sleep, and then you go behind them, and you hit them with the Dream Eater. So very excited to see what happens with Gengar there. Moving to Zeraora. Zeraora has some bug fixes on Spark. Wild Charge, which is not used as much, has damage dealt to opposing Pokemon increased and its cooldown reduced. So Zeraora gets a little stronger with Wild Charge. Most people run Discharge and Volt Switch on Zeraora, so generally you're not seeing a ton of Wild Charge, but it seems like they're buffing that. And then they're actually going to nerf its Unite move, Plasma Gale. Plasma Gale, one of the best Unite moves in the game. It's so busted. Gonna have damage decreased on that one, so that'll be nice to see. Next Pokemon is Cramorant. Cramorant is so good in the early game. It is insane. In fact, some of the top tier Unite players actually say Cramorant is one of the best characters in the game. He's getting some nerfs to one of his main moves, which is Whirlpool. It's going to reduce the amount of damage that Whirlpool hits in the early game, which is very, very big. He ends up leveling out of it, but Whirlpool early game is so busted. Dive is going to have its damage increased. Most people are running Surf and Hurricane instead of Dive and Air Slash. You can run Air Slash, but most people are running Surf, so they're actually going to make Dive a little bit stronger for Cramorant to, again, balance that out. I love these changes. I'm so happy to see this. We've got Machamp. Machamp has some bug fixes, and he's actually going to have kind of one of his moves nerfed. Cross Chop has some damage reduced, and Close Combat is going to have damage increased. So again, balancing out those moves. Lucario has some bug fixes on Power Up Punch and Bone Rush. No tweaks to Lucario, otherwise Lucario one of the best characters in the game. Greninja has some bug fixes, and Alolan Ninetales has some bug fixes on its Snow Warning passive. That is all incredible, incredible news. I am so excited about this, and I'm so thankful that they are actually doing these updates and doing these tweaks right now for Pokemon Unite this fast. They're listening to the community. They're doing everything right now, and I could not be more stoked about it. So I know you guys are excited for the Gengar nerf. I'm really excited to see things like Venusaur, Talonflame, Wigglytuff get those improvements and hopefully bring them up a little bit in the tier list to make them a little bit more viable and even the playing field. Because that's what I'm saying right now. A lot of the team comps are a lot of the same things. You're seeing a lot of Cinderace, Snorlaxes. I mean, it's been a lot of the same Pokemon at the higher tiers in Masters rank. This is actually going to shake that up a little bit and give a little bit more viability to some of these lower tier Pokemon, which I love to see. Blastoise has got to be coming soon. Very excited for that. Don't forget to pick up your Poke Loot at pokeloot.net. You don't want to miss out. Again, only about 100 of these left. We sold out of most of them. I'm just letting you guys know I'm a little late to the YouTube plug here, but grab one before they're gone. And thank you guys so much for watching this. I'm still recovering from being sick, so bear with me on that, but I am streaming all day on twitch.tv/aDrive. Hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And I'll see you guys for these bug fixes, man. I'm so excited for this patch notes. This is so great, dude. I'm jazzed up. That's it for me, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.